Hello, everybody. Welcome to Marlicia's Meanderings. I am Marlicia, also known as Marlicia Muses, and today I'm going to do kind of a combination book review, Big Book Summer update. Okay, so first of all, for Big Book Summer, I finished the book, The Fellowship of the Inklings. Okay, and I'm going to talk about this at the end of this video. I just want to let you know that I finished it. Okay, so that's my second book for Big Book Summer. I'm happy about that. Other finished reads, I finished for Indie August. That's Kevin Toll reads, and the book is Just Stab Me by Jill Bearup. And I'm not going to give you a review on this one today because I will be doing a collaborative review with my daughter Tahlia from Tahlia Nerds Out at a later date. So I just want to let you know that I did finish this book, but we will be discussing it at a later date. The book that I'm starting, I wanted to try and get 2 books in for Indie August. I don't know if I will be finishing this one or not. Is a book by a friend of mine. It's called Beyond the Fifth Gate by Donna Sundblad. And this is fun because I opened it up. And of course, I showed you when I showed you the book before that she had written in it. But I was looking through it and I was reading the acknowledgments. And she has her with gratitude section. This is what she said to my good friends in Middle Earth Study Group. That's the group we were together in. For all the feedback and critiques. I especially want to thank me, yay, me, and a couple of friends of mine in that group that I don't have permission to put their names out there. But I'm in this book in acknowledgments. I'm so excited. It makes me happy. Yes, a little bit of bragging. Sorry about that. But I was happy about that. I didn't expect it. I've had this book for several years. I haven't had a chance to read it. I didn't expect to see that. And it was kind of a neat, happy thing. Okay. So this one is my new book for Indie Authors in August. Now, getting to the book for Big Book Summer, The Fellowship, the Literary Lives of the Inklings, J.R.R Tolkien, C.S. Lewis, Owen Barfield, and Charles Williams. So this is not all the Inklings, okay, but it's what they're focusing on. Now, before I go into this, I'm going to tell you a little bit. I'm going to have to read because there's so much information. I did a search, and so I wanted to tell you first, before I go into a little information, this started as part of the Inklings read along. I think it was June with the Inklings, I think it was. I started with that read along. Obviously did not finish that in time because it was 1 month, and it took me until this month or the end of last month to finish this. So I didn't finish it in time for the Inklings, but I did finish it in time for Big Book Summer, okay? And now, before I go into the physical attributes of this book, I wanted to tell you a little bit about the Inklings. They were a group of literary enthusiasts. They were academics, primarily based at Oxford University, and they met regularly from the 1930s to the 1940s, the late 1940s. They discussed their writings and they talked about literary and philosophical issues, okay? Notable members were C.S. Lewis and J.R.R Tolkien. They continued to meet, though less consistently, for several years after the 1940s, but not that core group. You know, people started dying, people started falling away, that kind of stuff. It is an informal group. It didn't have any officers or rules or anything like that. They just enjoyed sharing with each other drinks and stories and discussions about literary questions and things like that, religious topics. It was kind of a social group with an strong academic and faith bent, okay? Their shared interests were narrative fiction, fantasy, and the Christian faith, although not all of them were Christians. Some of them were like quasi-Christian, and they would have lively discussions about those topics. The key members, besides Lewis and Tolkien, were Owen Barfield, Hugo Dyson, Neville Coghill, Warren Lewis, who is C.S. Lewis's brother. Christopher Tolkien later became a member of the group. That is J.R.R Tolkien's son. He's the one who was responsible for putting out any posthumous works by Tolkien. Was his son Christian, not Christian, Christopher. I read Christian. His name is Christopher. I thought I missed a name, but I guess I didn't. There were adjacent Inklings, if you will, those people who weren't officially, if you will, or not recognized as being part of the core group that would engage in discussions with them, but didn't attend the meetings. You know, they might, you know, take a walk with them or write letters or something like that, and they would discuss things, but they weren't Inklings per se. Dorothy Sayers was one of these, even though she wasn't allowed to be an Inkling. She was a woman, and women were not allowed in Inklings. Don't shoot the messenger, girls. I didn't make the rules. She was not allowed because she was partially because she was a woman. They just didn't have women there. They wanted, it was a men's club, which is fine. Okay. The Inklings had a really significant impact in shaping the literary landscape, okay, especially in the realm of fantasy and Christian literature. Their discussions helped to develop and refine works like Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings and Lewis's Chronicles of Narnia. Lewis also has a science fiction trilogy out there, and Tolkien, of course, has Silmarillion and Beren and Luthien. I think that's how you pronounce it. Tahlia will correct me if I didn't. And the Children of Hurin and all that kind of stuff. There are all kinds of books that they have out there, and that's the most well-known authors, arguably. No, arguably, they are the most well-known of that group. The Inklings would meet primarily at a couple of pubs, the Eagle and Child pub in Oxford. The Eagle and Child, that's an odd name. And occasionally other pubs like the White Horse and the King's Arms. And they also would meet at C.S. Lewis's rooms in Oxford, okay? Now, that's just kind of a basic outline of the group. I want to go into now a little bit more here in the book itself. The Fellowship, The Literary Lives of the Inklings, was written by Philip and Carol Zalesky. I hope I said that right. Okay, you can see the names right here. And it was published by Farrar, Straus, and Giroux, I think that's how you say that, in New York. It has 644 pages, definitely a big book. And this is my daughter's copy. That's why all this stuff is on it. It has 512 pages. Okay, so keep in mind, 644 total pages. Only 512 are the actual book, okay? Still qualifies as a big book, but 512 pages are the actual book. Then you have another 73 pages of notes. I'll show you the notes here. I should have had this. I meant to have this marked off, but I didn't because I need to get this done before our people come in with our new washer and dryer and start making all kinds of noise. Here we go. Notes. All right. So the notes, okay. This big section is the actual book, okay? Here's your notes, okay? That's 73 pages. Then you have 23 pages of bibliography. That's a lot of bibliography. Let me see here. Okay? There's your bibliography right here. Then you have acknowledgments, which is only 2 pages, a page and a half. And then you have an index. I guess the index is 28 pages. And then you have a page of permissions acknowledgments. I guess that's so you can use quotes and things. And that's only about 4 pages. So this is a huge book. It's almost 650 pages, almost. And even taking out a good portion of the book for notes, bibliography, and permissions and such, there's the book itself. And here's everything else. I did not read the notes and the bibliography and all that because I was reading it on a Kindle and it was very difficult to navigate, to go back to the notes and go back to the Kindle where I was reading. It was just too much work. I think I would like to have this in a hard copy like Tahlia has here and reread it when I can go back at my leisure. I would also, I don't really like having the notes and stuff at the back. I would prefer to have the notes either at the end of the chapter or at the bottom of each page, or of a page facing the page that you're reading, or something like that where it's more close to hand to what I'm reading. It's a minor quibble for this book. It's fine the way it is, but I think it would be easier with so much information to be able to just look to the bottom of the page, or look to the side, or look to the end of the chapter and say, there's the stuff, instead of having to go all the way to the back of the book and then find your stuff. I know. First world problems. I wish that they could do it that way. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't affect the content of the book. Now, the book focuses on the members of the Inklings, but particularly these four members: J.R.R Tolkien, C.S. Lewis, Owen Barfield, and Charles Williams. Okay, the four most well-known of the Inklings. And I'll tell you right up front, of course, I knew J.R.R Tolkien and C.S. Lewis, but I knew virtually nothing about them. And I never heard of Owen Barfield and Charles Williams until recently. So this was kind of an eye-opener, all right, in terms of learning about them. A lot of information. Each section, and sometimes each chapter, will focus on one particular of the Inklings. And the way it's set up is a little disconcerting when you first start reading it, because they'll go through the four people and then they'll move forward in time, and then they'll go through the four people and move forward in time. So it takes a little getting used to, but it works. Okay, it does work. There are a lot of names to keep track of. I would highly suggest reading this book with a notebook and a pen or a pencil or something, because, and your highlighters, because there's a whole lot of information in here. Other than the four main focal people, Tolkien, Lewis, Barfield, and Williams, there's one other character that really is dealt with quite thoroughly, and that's C.S. Lewis's brother, Warnie. A lot of his diary entries are used in here, and you get a lot of information from them. I never even knew Lewis had a brother until I read this, okay? There's, like I said, this is actually a real goldmine of information. If you want to learn about, if you like learning about words and languages and story building and all that kind of stuff, this is a really good book. Although I know it would be impossible to do justice to all the members of the Inklings, even all the core members, not counting the ancillary and the friends and all that, it would be really, really hard. You'd probably have several books this size to do that. I still feel in some ways, and this may just be my impression and my opinion, but I think that Lewis got slightly more attention than Tolkien did, and I don't think that was right. I'm a Tolkien fan. I also like Lewis, but I thought that was just a little more shaded toward Lewis, and that just may be my read on things, or it could be that it's true, but there's a reason for it. But I felt annoyed with that for Tolkien's sake. But it's still, there's a ton of information on all of them. I learned things about them that I never would have guessed. Some of the things I learned I didn't really want to know, but it's all there and it's all good. Lewis's conversion story is in there, and it's very interesting. There are other characters that have, there are other people. This is not a novel, it's an actual nonfiction book. The conversions of other people in this book are also very interesting, if somewhat disappointing, because they don't get to where I hope they would have gotten. But having said that, I'll move on to the fact that I found this to be a very enjoyable, easy to read book, although the amount of information, as I said, could require multiple readings. I would not suggest reading this on a Kindle like I did. It's just got too much information. It's just amazing, all the stuff that's in here. I mean, from philology, the study of philology, languages and words and religion, and, making a case for Christianity, and how to write stories and what works and what doesn't work and what informs their creation of characters or the creation of worlds or whatever it is they're talking about. There's just the sheer amount of information. I would really suggest taking your time with this and reading the physical copy and just, yeah, I'm repeating myself. This is an excellent book, okay? I usually don't like to give star ratings. I'm a little unsure that I am qualified to do so, but based on my own preferences and on my enjoyment of the book and the fact that I think it would definitely merit rereads and would hold up well for that, I would give this a 4.8. The only reason I'm giving it a 4.8 is, first of all, I don't usually give 5s. And secondly, I wish that the setup was a little different. And just a little bit of the fact that I wish that there was more equality with Tolkien and Lewis. And it wasn't a big amount. It's just, it just seems that I was more focused on Lewis. Maybe because he was, unbeknownst to me, more integral to the Inklings than I thought, in terms of, I thought he and Tolkien were absolutely equal driving forces. Maybe Lewis was a little bit more. I know Lewis was a more dominating personality. So maybe that was the case. In any event, well worth the read. If you like fantasy, if you like learning about languages, if you like world building, if you like conversion stories and character arcs and how people interact and how the times around them affect their lives, this is a really excellent book. So that's about all I have to say about this. Keep your eyes open for my collaborative video with Tahlia at Tahlia Nerds Out for Just Stab Me Now by Bearup. And I am very happy to have you meandering here with me today. And I thank you for it. I appreciate it very much. And I look forward to spending more time with you next time I record. God bless and have a wonderful day.